I remember when I was in, I want to say, elementary, middle school, when I didn't have a water bottle. I always had to excuse myself to go to the drinking fountain. Whenever I went to an event, I would have to bring a disposable water bottle, and I would maybe use it once or twice, or I would have to rely on someone else to bring me one or provide one while I was at that event. But that all changed when I got a reusable water bottle, and I've been using this one for 7 years. And I know that some people in the audience, you might even have a water bottle sitting at your desk, and that's awesome. And I have the privilege of telling you why you should, if you don't already, should buy a reusable water bottle. Reusable water bottles are they are economically savvy. They save you money. They use less resources, so they're better for the economy, and they are actually more recyclable than disposable water bottles. So, how do they exactly reduce their resource consumption? So, it's kind of a yes and no, and I'll try to explain. So, disposable water bottles are constantly being produced and they're constantly thrown away. Since they're always being thrown away, there's always a market for them to be constantly produced. And according to Pacific Institute, an organization dedicated to the world's most pressing water consumption challenges, says that it takes 17 million barrels of oil to produce the amount of water bottles that the United States requires in just 1 year. So to put 17 million barrels of water of oil in perspective, that's enough oil to power around 1 million cars for an entire year. That's a lot of cars. It's a lot of energy that it takes to produce these things. So how much is actually the resource consumption of a reusable water bottle? Well, a reusable water bottle takes around 7 times as much energy to produce than its plastic counterpart. So this one is a 40-ounce water bottle. So a 40-ounce regular bottle would take 7 times less energy, and it would produce 14 times as less greenhouse emissions. Now you might say, well, that doesn't sound very good. Reusable water bottles kind of suck. Well, the lifetime cost is actually much lower. So if you use one reusable water bottle around 14 times, it's already paid its energy cost. It's already paid its resource cost. I've had this for 7 years. Reused it's been reused thousands of times, so it's paid much more lifetime cost than disposable water bottles would have ever tried. So their reusable waters are actually more repurposable than plastic ones. So plastic is actually very hard to recycle. And according to Professor Roland Geyer, a professor of environmental science at UC Santa Barbara, 42% of all plastics are used in are used in packaging, just packaging in general. And around 24% of all plastic that are used in packaging is actually recycled. So that's a pretty low amount, but that's high for general plastics in general. Most plastic is just, it's just put into a landfill or it's incinerated, which isn't good for, the environment, and it's not really good for a sustainable world in general. Stainless steel, which is the one that I have, is actually quite, on contrary, quite recyclable. In fact, 93% of steel is recyclable. If I were to just take this down to my local recycling place, they could easily recycle almost all of the metal on it. But even if you don't want to recycle, that's fine. You can repurpose it. That's actually there's actually lots of ways to repurpose it, and according to the South Central Solid Waste Authority, water bottles can actually make really great storage containers once you can't, let's just say the cap on this broke. Well, I can't use it to drink water anymore because it leaks or whatever. I can still use it to, carry flour, or I can use it to carry seeds or a spice. There's so many different ways that in creative blogs that I've seen online of people repurposing their old water bottles where they can't carry water anymore to just function just in a different way. It could even work as a vase. There's so many creative ways to repurpose them. You don't just have to recycle it back into the economy or whatever. And lastly, it's actually an investment. It's actually much more economical for your wallet to be using a recyclable water or reusable water bottle. According to earthday.org, the average American buys around 167 water bottles, and that costs about $260 a year, annually. So think about that, $260 every single year out of your pocket to just buy disposable bottles, and then they go into a landfill or whatever. Buying a reusable water bottle cost, the one that I bought the other day was like $12. It costs around $12 to $60 depending on the quality and what material you want. And it easily pays for itself within a year. Like within a year, it's paying for itself. I've had this for 7. It's paid for so many water bottles. It's crazy how much money I've saved just by choosing this. And lastly, plastic has BPA in it. So BPA is also known as bisphenol A, and according to Mayo Clinic, a nonprofit organization committed to clinical practice and research, BPA is an industrial chemical typically used in the plastic packaging of food and beverages. Now, BPA has actually been phased out, and there's a very small amount of BPA that can leak into your food and water from just the packaging. So it's not incredibly dangerous, but you're already getting BPA from like other sources that aren't food and packaging. So just avoiding the BPA in food and packaging generally is just a good idea. And you won't find any of that in a steel or reusable water bottle, especially if they say BPA free on it. So in conclusion, reusable water bottles have many more advantages than disposable ones. They are better for your wallet, better for the economy. They use less resources, and they're actually more repurposable than the disposable counterparts. So I urge you that if you don't already have a reusable water bottle, purchase one now. And if you do, awesome. That is fantastic. I'm so glad that you're already on board. Thank you.